Okay, so today we'll talk about conditions. Okay, so far, okay, you've been running program sequentially. Whatever program we did sequentially. That means, we did line number 1, line number 2, and we went on till last line, right?
Mhm.
But now we'll talk about situation where you don't want to execute some lines of code based on some condition. So we are going to handle condition. Now is so okay. So you might have something like this. Let's say, you want to print whether the student has passed or failed, right?
Mhm.
Based on the average marks, let's say, right? So your program should deal with both, right? Pass and fail, correct?
Yeah.
The program should have both options, pass and fail. But while you're displaying, okay, while displaying, you don't have to display both, right? You will be checking the condition. So that's why we say conditions, okay? So you are checking the condition, and let's say if passing mark is 50%, then you'll check if average is greater than equal to, and this is where you'll be using relational operator, you'll be using logical operator, okay, and then forming this uh, condition. So you'll be checking if the value is greater than or less than, okay, 50. If it's greater than 50, you will say pass. If it is less than 50, you will say fail,
Yeah.
right? So, okay, so let's say you get average value as 55, right? So you will check if EVG greater than equal to 50, colon, print pass. Okay,
Okay.
now you
So
see this.
it understands if.
Yes. So few things here. One, whenever you want to check condition, you have to add if.
Mhm.
Okay. If you're checking condition, you have to add if. If means you are checking the condition. And if, okay. So if you see if, and when you see if, that means there is a condition that is coming. If will always have a condition which should translate to either true or false. So for if, what matters is true or false, right? For if, what matters is true or false. If should be followed by either true or false, nothing else. Okay. You cannot say if 5, right? You can say if 5 is 5. Okay. So
Mhm.
after if, it is should be followed by true or false. So how do you get true or false? You get true or false by directly typing true or false. Of course, if I type true directly, it will be true, right? So one option is I directly say if true, which does not make any sense. Then I can say, but it is valid, okay? True will accept it because it has to get either true or false. So you directly type if true, that will also work for if, because if needs only true or false. Second
Mhm.
option is when you do a relational operator, right? If a greater than 5, if avg greater than or equal to 50, this will also result either true or false, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or you have multiple relation operator joined using logical operator, because logical operator will also result in true and false. So you can have multiple conditions as well. We'll see later. So either you say if true or false, or if condition, or if logical operator, right?
Yeah.
It will result into true or false. So if true or false, colon. Colon indicates the condition has ended. Now, whatever you want to do if condition is true, that should begin now. So colon also indicates beginning of what we call as if block. If block, right? It's my block. It's if we'll say it's out of this entire program, this is what belongs to me. Okay. And you can
Mhm.
have multiple statements here. Okay. And then once you're done, you will go back and you start programming here. Now, okay, so here you see I have put print within if. So these are two statements which belongs to if.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are indicating that these two statements belongs to if, and that's why we're giving a space here. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
from Python perspective, even one single space is enough. Okay. Python just needs to know that whether this print statement, line number 7, belongs to if or outside if. Okay. That's all it needs to know. And Now, if you look at line number 9, I've started from very beginning, isn't it?
Yeah.
This clearly means that this is not inside if. This is outside if. This is not inside if. This is outside if. Okay. So when you're writing the first line of the block, okay, this is first line within this block, right? So you have a choice whether you give one space, you give 50 spaces, you give. Okay, general practice is giving it a tab. Okay, general practice is to give a tab. Okay, so we give a tab here. Okay, but again, as I said, even one single space will work. Any number of spaces you can give. Okay, to indicate that this print belongs to, or this print is inside this if. Okay. Now, for first line, you have a choice, but if you have multiple lines like these, okay, you don't have a choice. It has to begin from same line, right? So if I'm giving a tab here, I need to give tab only. If you give 10 spaces here, you have to give 10 spaces only. Okay, so you only have choice at first line, but you have no choice at second or third line. Okay, you have to give same number of spaces. So Python, it's one space is enough. But generally, one space doesn't look that, sometimes you might miss, okay, there's a space or not, right? Because one
Yeah.
space is very small. So we tend to give tab spaces.
So,
Okay, so we give tab spaces, and tab is, recognized like as like international kind of thing. Okay, so so this is how we write conditions. So when you have only one condition to handle, if you have only one condition to handle, then we do this. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So now when I run this, what happens? Okay, so this print is working sequential one by one. Then I give average equal to 55, and this average is greater than 50. Obviously, in this case, it is, right? So you get pass, congratulations, right? Otherwise, what happens? Okay, now let's say if I make this as 45, then see, none of this got printed. So you have pass, fail coming from line number 3 and 4, and end is outside if, isn't it? So end is part of your sequential program. It is it's outside if, so this will be printed anyways. So pass, fail, end, and all these pass and congratulations is within your if condition. This is within your if condition.
And then we can add a second if average is lesser than or equal to 50.
So we will talk about it in some time. Okay. So So now let's say here itself. Okay. First we'll see what are the other. See, it's like this. When you insert into looking for a house, right? So you'll have multiple houses, right? And then inside multiple houses, you have multiple rooms as well. So if you have to get to second room or third room of your house, right? You have to go through the entrance, isn't it? First, you have to enter the house. Only then you can go to your room, or you can go to, let's say, kitchen or somewhere. Now, that is like if. If is like entrance to the main door. Okay. So if is like entrance to the main door. Now, if average is not greater than 50, now here I want to say fail, isn't it? So I'll put else. So what I'm going to say is first, if can work independently. You don't have to have else condition. Okay. If you have to deal with only one condition, you have to deal with only one room. You can have just single room, right? You may not have more rooms here. So when you're dealing with only one condition, it's like entering into just one room, house with one room. So when you enter to house with one room, of course you enter through if, and that is it. Okay. But now if you have two rooms, right? No, I don't want to get into this. I want to get into other room. So else, if this condition becomes false, so if executes only if the condition is true. If it is false, that's when it comes to else.
No conditions are false.
then else. Okay. So now in this case, average is 45. 45 will make it false, isn't it?
Yeah.
45 is not greater than 50. It's making it false. So if will not get executed, it comes to else. So you say print fail. You can have one more statement saying
Try again next time.
try. And yeah. Right. So now in this case, you see, you will get fail. Please try again next time. Right. So you can have two conditions for two rooms if you want to check. Now it's like, you're checking for your phone, right? Let's say you misplaced your phone, you're looking for your phone. So you can check your phone in one room, you can check your phone in two rooms, you can check your phone in multiple rooms if you have 10 rooms, right? Okay. So you can, okay, so entrance is only one. Now if you're checking for your laptop again, then you'll have a separate if. So that's the difference between if else or if. If is like getting into two different rooms. So you have to enter into two different rooms. Okay. So
Yeah.
if I put a if condition here, let's say I check here something instead of else, I'll say here if AVG less than 50. Now this is very similar to, this is very similar to, like opposite of this, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you get same answer. You get same answer. Okay. But problem here is that, okay, this part and this part both gets executed. Okay? This part and this part both gets executed. Now, if I make my average as 55, okay, it will check here and it will say pass, congratulations, right? And then since it's a fresh if, it will check this condition also. Since this is a fresh if, it will check this condition also. But if you put this as else, okay, so it knows that this is part of this one itself. So if you found your phone in the bedroom, I mean, in the hall itself, then you will not go to bedroom because you
Yeah.
found it here. So you don't have to check any further rooms. It's when you don't find it here, that's when you'll go to check second room, third room, so on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the importance of using if else than if. Okay. If then you are checking both the even first condition is true, still you are going and checking the second condition because you
Yeah.
are forced to check second condition. But when you have if else, if first if condition is true, the else is ignored. You don't go further. You you directly come to line number 12. After line number 8, you come to line number 12. These things are totally ignored. So you save time, you save, lot of time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why we need to give if else. And also from understanding perspective, okay, when you write if else, okay, this is else of this. Instead of you write if, then you will try to understand why this if is there, what condition are we checking, right? So there is a lot of confusion as well there. Not for Python, but for us. Okay. But for Python, it saves a lot of time. So you can have if alone, you can have if else, you can also have if elif else. So when you're dealing with only one condition, if is enough. When you're dealing with two condition, like it's like this: do this, otherwise do this. If average is greater than 50, do this. If average is greater than 50, do this. Else or otherwise do this. So two options here: pass
Yeah.
or fail. I can have multiple option. Okay. So let's say you assign grade now. Okay. Now to assign grade, I have something like this: average greater than 80. Okay. Then I'll say grade A. Okay. If average greater than or equal to, let's put it. If greater than equal to 70, you put grade B. And if you say average greater than equal to 60, you say grade C. If you say average greater than 50, you said grade D. And less than 50, you say grade E. Okay. So here we're dealing with about 5 conditions, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if is always the beginning of condition. So if always indicates beginning of condition. So average greater than 80, you're indicating beginning of if condition. So you'll go inside this. Done. Perfect. Great. Now I have to check again for 70. See, this is like else. Else means if this is not true, then get into this. Right? So in this case, this has to be if, because this indicates beginning of condition. So as always, I told you, right? Always when you are starting a new condition, you have to have if. Correct? Now this is like else where if none of these conditions are true, then do this. Okay. Instead of saying else average greater than 50, less than 50, you can say else, right? If
Yeah.
none of this above is true, then you do last one, right? Grade E. So else is like the last condition. If is always the first condition, only if is always the first condition. Else, only else is always the last condition. Okay. Everything in between is like elif. Elif. Elif means else if, short form for else if. So if this is not true, else, and again you check a condition. Okay. You are checking a condition again. Okay. So this is your elif. You're checking a condition again. You're checking a condition again. Oops. Oops. What did I do? You're checking condition again. Okay. You're checking condition again. So this is called elif, elif, elif. So if you have 5 conditions, your first one will be if, last one will be yes. In between all 3 will have else if.
Yeah.
If you have 100 conditions, first will be if, hundreds will be else, and all the 98 other conditions in between will be elif. Okay. So how do I write this? So I'll check if average greater than equal to 80. Okay. Now I will say print grade A. And I can have more, I can have multiple lines here, right? Then I'll say elif AVG greater than equal to 70. So see, if this condition is false, for example, here itself you see 55. So 55 greater than 80, false. So when it is false, it will not go inside this. It will come to next condition, which is elif. Okay. And then you will say here, print grade B. Then again, you will come to elif, AVG.
Okay. The elif, it's to separate the current term with the previous one, right?
Separate what? Sorry.
Like if it's not average, if it's not average of 80, then it's average of 70.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So always else means it's not above is false.
Yeah, yeah.
When above is false, that's when. Okay. So now greater than equal to 50, I will say grade D. And then I'll say else print, grade E. Right? So you have grade A, B, C, D, E. Right? So what we said here is, okay, we are talking about all of these values together.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to all of these values together, right? Because there's only one if. So if there's only one is if, you have only one entrance. Okay. If you have only one if, you have only one entrance.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So now see, if your value is, okay, let me put average here, so you don't have to scroll up again and again. Equal to 85. When value is 85, okay, so this is true. Correct? 85 greater than 80 is true. So if true, then goes inside if. Right? So
yeah,
grade A getting printed here. Now it comes here also, right? Elif. Now here also average is greater than 80. 85 is greater than 70. Yes?
Yeah.
But why is not printing grade B?
Because it's above 17. Oh, wait.
See, I told you, when you find your laptop or phone in hall itself, you will not go
Mhm.
check in other rooms, right?
Okay, so it
Right.
doesn't go further to check them all.
Correct. So that's the difference between having multiple ifs and single if.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Single if means only one entrance and looking for only one value. And the moment it becomes true, you print it. If you don't find it here, let's say 75. If I give 75, that means this is false. You don't find it here. Then you'll go
So,
and check in the next room
yeah.
and you
So,
find it here.
yeah, if
You
we
come
put
out.
if,
You don't have to go and check the third room,
yeah, true.
right? So when I
If
run it, so this will give you grade B. So
we,
it's like you found it and then you come out. That's the advantage of writing if, else, rather than writing multiple if. If you found also, you have to go and check. Formality's sake, you have to go and check. Okay.
Mhm.
See, if it is 65, okay. So this condition is also false. This is false, then checks this. This is false. It comes here. Now this is true. So you'll
Mhm.
say grade C.
Let's see. Right.
If this is also false, then comes here. If this is also false, then it has to print. Else means something will be printed for sure. Okay, because else there is no condition, right? Else means if none of the above condition meets, then you execute me.
Yeah.
None of the above conditions meet, then you have to execute.
Yeah. Then, but if we put if instead of elif, then every single condition that applies will print it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. If
Yeah.
is the like entrance door, you have to go inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So this is how your if condition works. And of course, you have, in that link that I had shared with you has a lot of such examples, okay, conditions.
Okay.
Try practicing from those examples, right? Okay. So this is called, you have only one condition, you use if. You have multiple conditions, you use if else. If you have if you have two conditions, you use if else. If you have more than two conditions, you use if, elif, else, and elif will repeat. Okay. And always it goes line by line here. It will
Yeah.
check this condition first. If this is false, only it will come to second condition. Okay. If this is false, come to third condition. If this is false, only then it will come to this condition. If this is true, it will print, it will go inside and then come out. If this condition is also false, it will come to else, print, and then go out. Right? So
Yeah.
this is your conditions. This is how you handle conditions in Python. Then there's one more concept called nested condition, nested if, nested condition. Okay. What happens in nested condition? Nested condition is like condition inside a condition. So you have condition and inside that you have a condition. Now, if I tell you, grade this, and then I'll put something here. If average is greater than 90, okay, say awesome, like print awesome. Right? Let's say it says print awesome if average is more than 90. Okay. Now you see here, if I say 85, then it shouldn't print awesome, right? So it'll say grade A. Now,
Yeah.
what I can do is I can put this here also. If average greater than equal to 90, print awesome. I can write this one also, right? So of course here there's no awesome. And if you have here 95, you will get awesome. Okay. This is possible, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's say we always look to write a program which is more efficient, easy to debug. See, two things, okay? Or rather three things, okay? Three things we have to think of while doing the program. One is your program should run as fast as possible, okay?
Yeah.
See, first thing is getting it right, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, getting the expected output. If you don't get expected output, your program is wrong, right? There's no need to discuss that. You have to fix your program first. But
Yeah.
if your program is right, there are multiple ways of writing same program. Same logic you can write in multiple ways. So when you're writing in multiple ways, you need to make sure that your program is executing faster. So when you have two options, two ways of doing stuff, you need to know which option is making your program run faster. Okay,
Yeah.
that is one. Second thing is the length of the program should be shorter.
Yeah.
Okay, as small as possible. When you say as small as possible, of course, it takes less number of space, so program size will be less. But more importantly, if you have less space, okay, less things, okay, it is easy to search. Let's say if tomorrow you have to debug it. Debug in the sense you have to edit it, okay? Let's say there's some error or there's some modification that is required. Okay, you wrote a program and then later you have to, make some modification. So if you have less number of code, then you have less number of things to check, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for a phone in a room which has, hundreds of stuff, it is very
Mhm.
difficult. But if you have a room with just 10 stuff, it's easy to find your phone, isn't it?
Yeah.
So same thing here. Shorter the code, it becomes easier to debug. Easy to debug, easy to handle, easy to go through it, understand, right? If I write 10 lines of code and 20 lines of code, you have to read first 20 lines of code, understand the meaning of all the 20 lines of code, then you have to explain me. But if it is just 10 line of code, it is obviously almost, it takes half of the time of what you do when you have 20 lines of code. So your focus has to be to write least number of lines of code, and also the way your program will be faster. Okay. Now
Yeah.
you see, if I have to print awesome here, this is also a good way. Okay. First you check for the grade and then you check for this. Now you see, okay, since we are already checking for 80, okay. Now, if the average is less than 80, obviously you don't have to check for awesome, right? Now,
Mhm.
whether I put here 75, 65, 55, 45, this condition is always checked, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this is a separate if, so this condition is always checked. Whether you get 45, 35, 85, 75, 65, this is always checked.
Mhm.
Instead, what I'll do is I'll remove from here and say this portion anyway we're checking more than 80. So when you are here, when you're after grade A, that means you are here because the average is more than 80. So if someone who has more than 80 will only have the chance of having more than 90.
Yeah.
If you are here or here or here, there's no chance of having more than 90, correct?
Yeah.
If you are here only, then there's a chance of having more than 90. So what if I put this condition here?
Yeah.
Right? So when you have 95, it checks here more than 80, prints grade A, then this if is inside this if, because we are starting right, I is right below P,
Yeah.
right? So this condition is inside this condition. Okay. And then
Yeah.
this print is inside this if. So this if will be tested or will be even tested only if average is more than 80. So if
Yeah.
average is more than 85, let's say, so you'll print grade A and then you will check it. This becomes false, then don't print awesome,
Mhm.
right? But if this is 95, then you check and you check this condition as well and you print it becomes awesome here, grade A awesome. Okay, so what you're doing is you are saving some time. Let's say if 10% people have got more than 80,
Yeah.
10% people have got more than 80 and 90% people have got less than 80. So this condition is being checked only in that those 10% of condition only. 90% of the time you are not checking, you are saving time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your program runs 100 times. Let's say your program runs 100 times and this condition is taking 1 second, then you have saved 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Because only 80% 10% people have more than 80. So you're checking only when it is more than 80. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I put it here, all the 100% time this will be checked. So you're checking 100 times. So you're taking 100 seconds. But now if I put it here, this will be checked only 10% of the time. 10 times only it will be checked.
Mhm.
So 100 versus 10, you saved 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was also correct. No, that it was wrong. Okay. You could have, putting if outside is also correct. But making it inside makes it takes less time. The program will run faster. And
Yeah.
imagine if you have to do 1 lakh times, okay, you're saving 90,000 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So that's why we should always try to think of better way, efficient way of doing program. So this if would have was here was also correct. Your program was giving you 100% accurate result, no error in that. But okay, making it here will make it more efficient. So this we call it as nested if inside if, nested condition inside condition. So you can have, so see again here this is going to start with if only because this is a fresh new condition.
Mhm.
This is not extension of this condition. This is never the extension of this condition. See, this condition is there, and for this if, the outer if, this is like any other statement.
Yeah.
Right? Just like print, this is also if for it, this if. But for okay, this if also there's no connection with this if. You say, okay, you give me the value of average, I will check the condition for you. But overall execution, this becomes better. Okay, so this is a fresh if. This is a fresh condition. That's why we wrote with if. You can check here if average is more than 75, if average is between 75 and 80, you give them something, let's say. So then you can have a condition here if, because maximum condition is up to up to 80 only, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, so this is the best place. If something goes beyond 80 to, let's say 70 to 100, if somebody has got 70 to 100, let's say, if you get more than 70, you get chocolate, let's say. Okay,
Mhm.
then you'll have to print it everywhere, right? You'll say you'll get print chocolate, okay, and here also you will say chocolate. Okay, so you are giving chocolate at both these places. Now this
Mhm.
is again bad way of doing program because you are repeating the stuff. Can we make
Okay.
it shorter? Of course we can make it shorter. Then we have to revamp it overall.
Yeah.
How do we revamp it? Chocolate condition is more than 70. So what I'll do, I will check for average greater than equal to 70. And I will print chocolate here.
Okay.
Okay. And because I have to check for 80, 90 also, right?
Yeah.
I will print chocolate here. Here I will say if average greater than equal to 60. 60 is grade C, right? So I'll say print grade C if elif, right? Why am I writing if? Okay, so elif average greater than equal to 50, you say print grade D. And then here you say else print grade E. Now you see we have handled 60, 50 and less than 50 correctly. Now here
Yeah.
we have to handle 70, right? So now chocolate is for both 70 and 80, right? More than 70. So I have taken one single condition. Here I will write other condition. If AVG, if it is more than 70, but before I print the grade, I need to know whether it is more than 70 or more than 80 because grade will change based on 70 or 80, right? So I'll see if
Mhm.
average AVG greater than 80, then you say print grade A. Okay. Now here I will say else. I can say else here. Why I'll say else? Because if it is more, if see this, you are here only when average is more than 70.
Yeah.
You are here only when average is more than 70. So it is given that average is more than 70. And this will take care of greater than 80. That means this else will only work when it is 70 to 80 only. So I'll say print grade B.
Just a random take on this, but can we use double inequalities on this?
Double?
Inequalities like
Of course,
70.
any conditional statement. So I told you for if, what matters for if is just if it is true or false.
Okay. If
You can
so,
use
we
not
can do.
equality, you can use not equal to, you can use equal to, you can use less than, greater than, you can use multiple conditions, the average, and this we'll see in the next session. You can have multiple conditions as well. And or you can have
Yeah.
multiple condition as
So
well.
if 70 is lesser than or equal to average is.
No, no. Variable will be on the left side, right? Variable can't be on the right side.
Oh, so it can be in the
No, no,
middle.
no. Okay, hold on, hold on. What we are saying? You are saying
Double inequalities.
7 if 7.
70 was lesser than or equal to. No, 70 was lesser than or equal to average
Okay,
is lesser.
okay, okay,
Yeah, you know
okay.
what?
So you want to change it? Okay, I got it now. So see
Yeah.
here. So when you say less than, right, it becomes less than. So 70 is for this one, right? This is where average. See, 70 is less than average.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are saying that instead of here, you will put 70. Okay. 70 less than equal to AVG,
Yeah.
right? So in this
Wait.
case, if average is less than or equal to
90. Because
70,
then we'll be able to print chocolate if it's between 70 or 90 or greater than 90.
I got your point. Okay, see, 7 equal to 70 is grade B, isn't it? So
Yeah.
here you have to remove opposite of grade C, opposite of course. Now let me tell you what you are trying to say. Okay.
Okay.
For example, let's say if it is 5 greater than 7,
Mm-hmm.
let's assume, okay. Now, when you change, you're changing average to the right and 7, the value to the left. So if I
Mm-hmm.
say 7 and 5, this sign will change, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, this is wrong, right? So let's make it 15, let's say. So when I say 15 greater than 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I change the value, if I bring 7 to the left and 15 to the right, okay, the sign will change.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, so of course you can do that. Now you see here, this is, let's say this is greater than, right? So when
Yeah.
you bring it opposite, it should become less than or equal to, because opposite of greater is less than equal to, right? So
Mm-hmm.
opposite of greater than equal to is less than, not equal to.
Yeah.
So you have to say 70 less than average. Yes, perfectly fine. Absolutely no problem. So this will
Okay.
also give you grade A. Okay, so if I make AVG as 85, okay, because
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing, it means the same thing. You see, grade A and chocolate. Chocolate is coming because of here.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say 70 less than average. I can say that. No, are you looking at the program now? No,
No,
probably.
I'm looking at the note.
Yeah. So now you can say less than 70 less than average. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
when you run it, you get grade A chocolate.
Yeah.
From here and chocolate from here. Of course, you can do that. But see, when you swap the left hand to right hand to left hand, the average, the sign that you have in between should also change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So greater than equal to will become less than. Greater than would have become less than equal to.
Okay. So what I was thinking was that we also have to include 90.
90 will
Like,
be here inside, no?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if AVG greater than equal to 90, then you
Then
say
I
awesome.
print chocolate. Okay. Perfect.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
So now you see here, I have handled 70 because now chocolate, I have to print only once. I don't have to write it 2 times.
Yeah.
Now, for example, let's say, I missed the spelling of chocolate. I get the spelling of chocolate wrong. And both the places, I just copy and paste. So both the places got it wrong. Now somebody later corrected me. Oh, see, the spelling of chocolate is wrong. Go and fix it. So what I'll do, I will not know how many times I have written. I'll go and fix at only one place and I forget to fix other place. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
call debugging. Managing the code is difficult when you have more lines of code. Try not to duplicate the code. So just to avoid the duplication, okay, we had to change our condition here. Now here, if I make the spelling mistake in chocolate, I can go and, so there's only one place to go and fix, right? So I can come here and fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how you have if, then inside if. This is all nested. You can have any level of, okay, nesting. Now you see this else is for this if. So this is should be below this I. They're
Mhm.
together. This if and this else is together, right? So this is should be below I. So when you are writing these conditions or loops later, we'll see, you have to make sure that you handle this indentation correctly.
Mhm.
Indentation is very important. One single space here or there will make your program wrong, or it will give you error. 90% time it will throw error, 10% time it will make your program wrong. You will not get what you expect.
Okay.
Okay. So, we'll do some 1 or 2 examples of if, then we will get into loops. We'll do loops. Then
Mhm.
we will do more examples. Okay. So we'll dedicate 1 or 2 days only for doing different examples.
Sure.
Okay. So this is how you handle conditions, one single condition, two conditions, multiple conditions, conditions inside conditions,
Yeah.
all these are, multiple conditions. Make sense?
Yes. Very much.
Perfect. Now I told you something that we'll do next section. Let's do it here itself. And next section we can dedicate for doing programs. And you have few programs, by the way, okay, in that same link, okay, the C program link, conditions programs, right? There will be conditions. So when you look at the flow chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you this. So when you talk about flow charts, okay, so you will have condition is written like this, rhombus.
Mm-hmm.
And in flowchart, you only have if else, okay? You don't have elifs in flowchart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So programs comes from here. Then you check AVG greater than equal to 50.
Mm-hmm.
This is else. Yes. Yes means it is if block. Okay. And no means it is else block. So, on first few pages only you have some conditions, you're checking for conditions. Do those programs. Try to do those programs using Python. Okay. So this is your condition and this is yes, no. So this will be in if and this will be in else.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back. Okay. Now you can have multiple conditions. Now let's say, okay, I want to check, okay, A, B, C. I assign it as 10, 30, 20. I want to check which is greatest among all the three values, A, B, or C. So I
Mm-hmm.
can say if A greater than B, okay, I can say A greater than equal to B, okay, and A greater than equal to C. So if
Mm-hmm.
A is greater than B also and A is greater than C also, then I will say B print, okay, A is greatest, right?
Yeah.
Now I can say here if, different condition, if B greater than equal to C and B greater than equal to A. Then B is greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now for C, I can say if C greater than A, greater than equal to A, and C greater than equal to B. I'll say C is
Sees.
greatest.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm checking two conditions together. I can use and or depending upon the condition here. Now you see B is greatest, right? B is 30.
Yeah.
If I make this as 40, then it will say A is greatest. Right? If I make this as 50, it will say C is greatest.
Yeah.
Okay, if I make this as 40, now you see
Mm-hmm.
A is greatest, C is greatest. If I make as 40 here also, all three
Mm-hmm.
greatest because it's going to match, all three are true. Now
Yeah.
again you see, this is not a Good way of programming, because you are
Mhm.
checking A greater than B here, and you are checking A greater than B here also.
Yeah.
They're getting duplicated. So same program, if you rewrite using nested, it will be better than this. So totally here you see 6 conditions are getting checked.
Yeah.
And no matter what, even if it is A is greater also, you're checking 6 conditions, because each of these are new if, right? Right? So new block. So now assignment for you is, can you modify this by something like this, okay? So that you get, okay, you get least number of execution, right? You don't have to check multiple conditions. See, here every condition is checked twice. A greater than B, B greater than A, right? This has same duplicate, right? This is opposite of this, right? So we are checking 2 conditions here. A greater than C, A greater than C here. B greater than C, C greater than B. So we are duplicating the conditions. So can we write in a way that we don't duplicate the condition? Okay, think about it and you show me tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll end it here for